About which this year about this funding.
All right, it is July 6th, 5:49 p.m. We're going to call this Finance Committee meeting to order. Sorry for the delay. We had to make sure the microphones and audio visual was all working. First item is council members present are Barker, Koss, Chute, and Marmee. Lemley is not here this evening. First item is the unappropriated balance of the general fund is at $902,640, and the cash balance of the budget stabilization fund is at $1,543,355. First item on the agenda is a request for appropriation in the amount of $4,637.
Good evening, members of council. My name is Jordan Bernard, and I'm here on behalf of the probation department. The resolution before you today utilizes funds from the grant that our department receives from the Ohio Department of Corrections. We're in need of more drug tests, and we'll use the money from this grant to purchase these drug tests. That's what the resolution is before you today.
Motion. Second. Motion by Barker, second by Chute. Questions and or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor send this on to full council signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. That motion passes 4-0. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is a resolution authorizing the mayor of the city of Newark to enter into a community development block grant funded subrecipient agreement with the hereinafter named organizations to carry out activities included within Newark's fiscal year 2026 Community Development Block Grant 1-Year Action Plan.
The City of Newark holds 2 public hearings each year on the CDBG Annual Action Plan. At the second public hearing, which was held April 30th, a list of subrecipients were announced. Those include Behavioral Health Care Partners, St. Vincent de Paul, Diocese of Columbus, Newark Development Partners, Licking County Coalition for Housing, St. Vincent de Paul, Community Drop-In Center. The majority of the subrecipients, it's easier to say, the Newark Development Partners will be awarded $111,000. The following subrecipients will each receive $11,000: Behavioral Health Care Partners, St. Vincent de Paul, St. Vincent Haven, Community Drop-In Center. Now, following the second public hearing on April 30th, there was a 30-day comment period. There were no comments submitted regarding the selection of subrecipients. The annual action plan was submitted to HUD, and it is coming up on it's past its 30 days, and we should be receiving word hopefully this summer on the release of funds.
Questions? So you listed all except for the Licking County Coalition for Housing. What are they getting?
Oh, Licking County Coalition for Housing, they will be receiving $37,950. That is for the deposit program.
Questions and or comments?
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I guess a comment I have, and if a motion is made to take this on to full council, I would like to see, and I would offer an amendment at that point, to remove the community drop-in center simply for the fact that there are currently some zoning issues there and some safety issues there with over 70 police calls. And we on this council have heard quite a bit from the neighbors there. I can't support funding that facility just due to the current issues surrounding that facility.
Yes, Mr. Cost?
We've got a church, we've got an organization that has been willing to take on a very difficult mission. They've tried to help people. The drop-in center has been there to help people that are overheated or freezing cold or hungry or needing any kind of possible help. I just, for the life of me, I just don't see how you can vote against that. How can you say no to those people? I just don't understand it. They were told that they were getting this funding, and my understanding is they've hired someone in addition to help out, and now we're going to try to just wipe them off. And I don't get it. I will not support an amendment like that.
Mr. Cost, I just,
Sorry, hold on. I'm gonna let some other people speak first, yes.
Thank you, Chair. Respectfully, thank you, Barb, for the stats on this being mentioned, that this went through 2 public hearings, the second of which was in April. No comments were issued. As a council member, I'm shocked to hear that an amendment would be placed to remove that organization, because there was an ample period of time where that could have been discussed in a public space, where we could have had conversations on that. So if this would make it, I'm not on this committee, so I'm speaking as a council member, if it would come to full council, I absolutely would not support that amendment. And with Mr. Koss saying that too, that organization has brought in individuals to be able to help with some of these. And before we start talking about police statistics, I'd also really like to see those officially documented and not just thrown out, as well as hundreds of comments. I also feel like that would need to be documented as well. As a council member, I am pretty shocked to hear this come up as a potential amendment for something that was approved by the public in April. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I'm Greg Bosser. I'm one of the directors at the Drop-In Center. And I agree with Michelle. I mean, these issues have come up, 70 plus calls. It is a public knowledge that we can see these calls to see exactly where they're coming from. And as I was telling people earlier, I mean, 185,000 people in Licking County, over 100 some churches, all kinds of municipal buildings, all kinds of places. One little church in its ministry says, yes, I can. God asked them to do something. We answered the call. We're there. We're there, whether it's warming center, whether it's cooling center, we're there. And if there is that many calls, that many issues, I'd really like to see all these things out in the open so we can do it. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen if we let them go. And as far as the zoning, I've been there over a year and a half, and I've not heard of the zoning issue until you just spoke of it just now. So I'd really like to know what that zoning is. Maybe we can fix it, repair it, instead of just saying no. We've already hired a second person on to help us with this. And I don't, because we were told we were having these funds come to us. The 30 days has passed. I guess I'm just really curious why all of a sudden this has happened. What is going on? Thank you.
Yes. Same.
Mr. Chairman, and Mr. Rucker, I think too, since we've told them this, and there's been a long period of time in it, and $11,000 is a big piece of our budget, I'd like to see it move on to whole council with the idea that we could really sit down and talk about the specifics. I mean, I believe your numbers. I know, Spencer, you sit down and talk to folks. And but are there some things that we can do to fix that and make that better for that neighborhood with a concerted effort? And it might take us to push it to make that happen.
Yes, ma'am. Back here. First, if she's at her.
Hello, my name is Donna Gibson. I've talked here before. Also the director of the drop-in center. I've been there for 2.5 years. And as far as hundreds and hundreds of police calls, that has not happened. Not for us, it has not. Not saying it hasn't happened for the neighbors, because I personally would like you to give me a list of that. Because the guy from the emergency department here showed us where it was at, because we were asking. Also, you have to understand that squad runs are also on that list. And unfortunately, we have a lot of senior citizens, a lot. I just helped a 76-year-old tonight with her oxygen tank in her back seat and her oxygen on, because we're trying to get her someplace safe. That's what we do. We feed not only single people, we feed people who are mentally, physically challenged. The seniors come there because they're trying to decide between their medicine, getting some hot food, whatever the case may be. Now, I don't know if you have anything against that. I was told you did, but I only believe what I see. So that's why I'm here, because I want us to have a relationship, and I would like us to have a good relationship, Mr. Barker. From what I've heard in the community, it's not so nice. It's not. You've said very derogatory things, and I don't know whether you have or not. I'm being honest, but I would like to invite you, or any one of you guys. Bill has been over there to our place. I don't care what time you come in. You come in the morning when they're all over the place eating cereal. Maybe there's a little milk mess or somebody spilled it. I invite you to come in when there's 40 or 50 eating at noon. I don't have a preference. All I know is the work we're doing is a lot, between 50 and 65 people. That's a lot of people. Don't you agree? So if you're that hungry and there's that many people, we need some help. Do all the neighbors like it? No, they don't. But if somebody does something they don't like, we're on top of it. We don't tolerate it. We're a low barrier, not a no barrier. We don't tolerate that. You'll get booted out and we'll hand you a sandwich and you won't come in. And if you do something again, you won't come back on the property. So there are rules and stipulations that we have there. But I invite you, before you hear and you listen to negativity, stop in and really see what's going on. Thank you.
Yes, Rochelle. Yes, Rochelle.
I've seen this organization in action, and they serve an awful lot of really people that are just have been trying so hard to get help, and they have so much going against them. And in the winter, when no place else will take them, at 10 degrees, this church has welcomed them. People have come in, and I've seen all sorts of people trying to help, because this is the only place in town that stands up for people that are not housed in 10-degree weather. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have been to the drop-in center, and what happens inside the building, you know, there's some really good work going on, but I'd like to address what's going on outside the property. I get many calls from residents. They're concerned. You know, people who work inside the building, they understand mental health issues. They understand when someone's having a behavioral or mental breakdown, they know what to do. But if that person deviates to a private property, those residents are scared. And no one wants anything worse to happen in that situation. But the records were pulled, and I do have them here. Between, and look at my dates right, July 1st of this year and July 6th of 2025, there were 79 calls to the center relating to the center. 24 were health related. They were, to your point, I mean, you know, things happen when you're hot or when you're just ill. So obviously you want to address those issues. But there were many concerns, whether it's trespassing, theft, larceny, verbal disturbances, assault, weapons violation, traffic hazards. Unfortunately, some people, according to the resident, they just started blocking the street. And, you know, no one wants that. Behavioral emergency, physical disturbances, animal complaints, suspicious persons, more trespassing complaints, more larceny. And again, the people that are asking us to advocate for them, they care. They really do. And they want to help, but they don't know how. Because they understand that you know what's going on the property, but again, they're being affected as persons are leaving their property. And so that seems to be where the conflict is. And I'm unsure, you know, I'm certainly not the property manager, but it sounds like an opportunity for some good behavior leadership training to get people together. So, and I do have copies. We can have copies made from these if you'd like. So, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Mark Ramirez. I'm the council member with the 4th Ward, which is where this property is located at. And I too, as Ms. Blind has, our wards separated West Main Street. So as much as she has had some calls with concerns with people coming and going from the center, I've had calls as well. And some of the things that she has mentioned, people have mentioned to me as well. I would say that every community member, constituents I've spoke with, is sympathetic to the good work that the people are doing inside. It's what they're experiencing when they're outside the building. If someone wakes up at 5 in the morning, they look in the backyard, and someone's looking in their garage, coming and going, those are the concerns that they have. They have concerns for spouses going to work. They have concerns for children and for grandchildren being out and playing in their own front yards or backyards as well. So while everyone is sympathetic to the work that's being done, and it's important work, there are those concerns as well. Thank you.
Anyone else that has not spoken yet before? Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, should not be.
I was wondering how you know that they're specifically from that church, as opposed to simply homeless. How can you prove that? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Cost, I was a little surprised what you said, considering you sat in the same meeting I did and was detailed all the zoning potential issues and public safety issues. But I understand your position. I do want to address a couple things. I don't know where the derogatory comments are coming from. That's not who I am. I think I have an idea where they're coming from, unfortunately. I do have one question, if I can, Mr. Chair, ask Ms. Gibson, is that your name correctly? Apologize. You mentioned low barrier. Are you a low barrier shelter or are you an emergency drop-in shelter?
We're a low barrier drop-in center. Yeah, we're not a shelter.
So do you serve people every day? Or only on, like, do you serve, if somebody comes to your door tomorrow at 10 o'clock and they want a meal, do you give them a meal? Or do you say, no, you can only come during these set drop-in times?
No, from 9:30 to 3, unless it's cooling time. Everybody's welcome to eat.
Okay. Thank you for answering those questions. And I appreciate your work. You both do. I don't discount it. I just don't, these are federal dollars that we get. I don't want us to lose all the federal dollars. And I would, as far as zoning wise, I would encourage you to reach out to George Carter. He's our zoning administrator. He's the one who made a few of us on council and the administration aware of some issues. And he's charged, that's his job, is working through those and
So you don't have those issues?
I don't have a copy of them right now. He's our zoning administrator. He handles all that. I'm not gonna go into what they are.
Okay.
You would need to speak with him. He has been supposed to reach out to the property owners. Now, I know that's the church. So I don't know if he has or not. My last communication was that he was working on the zoning issues.
I have to be honest with you, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
That we're there every day. So if he's having trouble finding, he's got a problem. Because we're there every day, so it bothers me that he's marching in saying, here's all these problems. But we are sitting here ignorant to whatever problems you're talking
Sure.
about. There is no zoning problems, so I don't know what. So I would invite him, if he's going to speak it, come to our door and speak it as well.
And if you're gonna say it,
Put it
I'd
in
like to
writing.
have the information,
Yeah.
instead of just throwing it out there.
It seems weird if you know how we feel about it, I mean, we're there every day.
I understand. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Couple of comments that I have, and this goes way back, and I've said this for years. When the action plan goes forward, it seems like it's a little bit backwards, because it seems like everything's agreed to, and then all of a sudden we're asked to provide the money. So I've asked for years and years for it to be changed to where we have to approve the money within the time frame of when the decisions are being made as well. These community development block grant funds within the city of Newark, we've utilized them for various organizations. Just to let all the public know, CDBG funds can be used for paving. They can be used for street maintenance. They can be utilized for anything within an area which qualifies for CDBG, which is low income. And so therefore, in the times of tight budgets, we may have to in the future look at what we are utilizing them for within the city of Newark. Many municipalities use all their CDBG funds for paving and street maintenance, because that's the only place that they can take care of those areas. I know that it was stated to the organizations that, they were awarded this. However, if somebody states that without the authoritative body who releases the funds, without their approval, I don't think that this body should be held to a standard of, well, we said it, so you have to vote on it. And so I understand what has happened, and I want to be understanding to that. And as far as if these organizations were told, but there should always be that caveat that council has to approve the funds. So, yes, Director.
Yeah, for the record, Mark Motter, Director of the Department of Development, and we oversee the CDBG funds. And Barbara, you've been doing this for a number of years. Am I correct that in the application, it does say subject to approval? There's no guarantees in this, it's subject to approval. And we are also held by guidelines when we have to put out applications, when we have our 30-day response period, when the public hearings are done. Those are all guidelines and timelines that are set up as well. Your point is very good, but there is that caveat built in upon approval.
Very good.
Let me explain something. All the subrecipient applicants are informed that we have a review period, we have the 2 public hearings. Historically, after the second public hearing, when the subrecipients are announced, the money goes through. Now, I always go to council to get the appropriation for the specific subrecipients following submission to HUD. It really isn't backwards, because we have the first hearing before we even know our allocation. We have the second hearing once we get it. Then we have a 30-day review period that anyone, and it's posted on the website, I send notifications out, they're welcome to comment. So the subrecipients historically, once we go through that, we go through HUD, HUD signs off on it, Congress releases the funds. We can't do anything until they release the funds. But it's all a matter of timing. We like to get the legislation through before the release of funds because there's a short window that they can spend the funds. And so that's why I come each year and ask for the specific appropriation. But everybody knows that. But, you know, all our subrecipients deal in good faith, and we deal in good faith with them, so this is where we're at.
Certainly.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
may I ask Barbara a question?
sure, certainly.
Barbara, so explain this to me. Since you're letting HUD know the specific appropriations that you're requesting, so if there were a change in this legislation, would they simply not appropriate the dollars that we were going to appropriate to the entity, or
Well,
how does that work?
Well, they would appropriate the money for the entire annual action plan. Now, if we make changes, we would have to notify them and we'd have to go through a process, a 30-day review. Why are you not funding this organization?
Because they have been told what you want to fund.
Correct,
All right.
correct. And they've been provided the documentation that we notified people, we had hearings and we had minutes. There's a lot of local control.
Mhm.
So that, you know, they're not going to say, you have to do this. They're basically saying, you presented us a plan, we're in sync with it, go ahead and do it.
Thank you.
Good. Any additional? Yes.
I'm gonna make sure I understand something. You made reference to amending. Surely you don't mean amending before it goes to full council. I mean, surely you're gonna be willing to let the full council hear this as opposed to the four of us. I think this is important enough for this community that everyone should have their voice heard. I think this needs to go to full council. And then we'll debate that out from there. I just can't believe we're gonna pick one and scratch that off before we even get council up here to talk about it. With all due respect.
Yes, sir.
I'm just wondering, it seems like this is maybe historical is not the right word, but is this something that's happened before? Where the council's come back and once the funds have been appropriated to, yeah. And how many times has this been, how many years have we been?
Point of order, no, speak to me,
Yes,
okay, and
so-
I will answer, yes, it has happened before. It has never been changed, but it has been questioned,
Okay,
and I have questioned in the past, she misspoke.
okay.
I have questioned particular agencies in the past, yes.
After the 30 days.
Correct, I have,
Are you questioning?
I have
But not
questioned.
like he said, let's cut it off.
I have not made an amendment,
That's what
I have
confused
not,
me.
but it has been questioned before, the process has been questioned before,
Okay.
yes. Any other questions, comments, or a motion?
I would make a motion to adopt.
1 year.
Do you have a comment?
I have a motion on the floor by Mr. Chute. Do I have a second? And lack of a second, the motion fails and it'll go nowhere. It dies in committee. I didn't get a second.
So you're saying then this doesn't go to full council?
No, you didn't make the second.
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Cost. Any questions and or discussion on the motion to pass on to full council?
Mr. Chair.
Yes,
I will, because I respect Mr. Cost, I will not make my motion tonight to remove the drop-in center and let this go to full council.
Appreciate that.
But know that I'm still going to be questioning, and we will get with you all to review these items. Because again, I don't want the city to be in jeopardy of losing federal funding with what we have been told is happening.
I appreciate that.
okay. So I have a motion and a second on the floor. Any further discussion? I know someone had something at one point here. Now you can discuss, but I can't discuss with the motion on the floor. Yes, sure.
Thank you. Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you, sir. My name's Kristen Evers, and I actually started the drop-in, so I thought I would just give a little bit of information about why I did that. I moved to this community 4 years ago with my husband, Jim. We moved here so that he could start the Intel facility, and he asked me to kind of get the lay of the land and figure out where people could live. There wasn't a lot of housing in Johnstown. New Albany was very expensive, and so I panned out into the county and stumbled on Newark, which was lovely. I was driving around the square and I said, this is so cute. I love this town. And as I rounded the square to pass Wendy's, a woman dropped her britches and urinated on the sidewalk, an unsheltered woman. And I told my husband, I drove around the square a few more times and I looked through a new set of eyes and I saw how many people were in really the center of town in this square. And it concerned me. So I contacted my local United Way because that's what I would have done in Phoenix. And those conversations are kind of what birthed the drop-in, where from a citizen who's thinking about where people can live, where is a safe community, where can people go to, what's a desirable place to live, where's the housing stock. That was what kind of prompted creating a triage center that became known as the drop-in, was how can we remove people from the center of industry, from where all the people will be living, constructively put them in a facility where we can pair them with medical doctors, with substance use counselors, with mental health experts, with therapists, et cetera. And over the 3 years, it'll be 3 years next month that the drop-in was started. It's growing, and the number of services that people connect to is also increasing. And I know that when we have growing pains, that can be difficult, and I'm hearing some of that from the community now today. And I'm very interested in learning more about that. Because I do think that it is important for industry and growth in that community to be able to have a constructive solution to address homelessness and substance use and mental health issues in this community. And so I wanted to just, I don't know how much background everyone had about that, but it was something that I definitely noticed when I moved here. The drop-in grows each year and expands. This year, they're working directly with Home Court. I also volunteer assisting Home Court as well, and the drop-in is working, hand in hand there. It serves the same population in many cases, but I also want everyone here to know the drop-in doesn't just serve homeless individuals in the community. It serves people right now that it's been very hot. Everybody's air is broken. It takes a long time now to get air repaired. And so it's serving as a cooling center now. So it's not just unsheltered people that are dropping in. It's the same situation in the winter for the warming center. It also services families, their support for people when their water's getting shut off or they need some money to make their rent so that they don't then become unsheltered. The drop-in assists people with things like that. They serve veterans, and they do provide housing and many different services that help people to address the reasons why they've become unsheltered, but also people that need help to not become unsheltered. And I think that that is very in line with the federal guidelines that are coming out that say, if you're gonna be interacting with this population, it's no longer a housing first and forget the rest mentality. It's a what are we doing to comprehensively address these systemic needs of this population? Home Court is working to do that, and the drop-in is also working to do that. And if you have feedback about how we can do that better, I'd love to sit with you, I'd love to talk about it, and really work on some of the growing pains that we're having. So, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor to send this on to full council signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. That motion to send to full council passes 4-0. And with that, this committee stands adjourned. Next up is streets.
Pretty sure we removed statements one time because we had issues. I don't know if we removed it during this portion or the previous, when they were first on. It is not.
No.
Oh, you're not.
He's
I
not.
just wanted to look at you.
Yeah.
Good job, Brett. You're not a streets.
working.
You're not a streets. I was just gonna try to pull you into the fray, so. All right, I think we have everybody. All right, I will go ahead and call to order the streets committee. Our committee members present, Blind, Ingold, Judas, Barker, Army, and Newman. We only have one item on the agenda, ordinance 2625. Do we have someone here to present on the presented ordinance?
I'll speak on it.
Yes, please do.
Brian Moorhead, city engineer. This request came from the adjacent property owners to the 12-foot alley that exists between 190 and 196 South Fifth Street. Requesting that it be vacated, and we put this out to our site plan review committee, which includes police, fire, and numerous other city departments, and there are no, there's no opposition to it, so question that you move it forward.
Do we have questions, comments, anything?
I spoke to the resident today and he's very excited about this. For him, it's been a 40-year project. So he's very glad to get this accomplished.
Thank you. Is there any other questions, comments?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Thank you. All right, we have a motion by Labutus and a second by Blind. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say yay. Aye. It says yay on the form, so I'm mixing it up a little bit today. We're going yay. We're bringing some joy into it. All opposed, nay. Okay, so that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yays, and that will pass to move on to full council.
Point of order.
Yes.
6-0.
6, I'm sorry, you guys, we're out of practice after 3 weeks, so that'll be 6-0. That concludes the streets committee. Thank you. Adjourned.
Date is 206. And I don't know how you fix that, so just, yeah, I don't want to let you know.
Oh, which committee is next? Service committee is next for those that are here.
That was come to county.
There he is.
All right, we're going to call this Service Committee meeting to order. Present are council members Neely, Koss, Shute, Blind, and Barker. The only thing on our agenda tonight is to consider Resolution 26-40, a resolution authorizing and directing the Director of Public Service of the City of Newark, Ohio, to enter into contract without competitive bidding, subject to the appropriation of funds for the repair of manhole and sanitary sewer and rehabilitation of the Licking River around said manhole and declaring an emergency. Mr. Fox.
Thanks, sir. So this is an odd piece of legislation. If you read through it, basically we had an emergency repair that was needed on our sanitary sewer north of the city. And so we were anticipating that work to be below, be above the $30,000 threshold, but below the $75,000 threshold. So we did seek Board of Control approval for that work. It was approved on June 2nd. We started the work, and as we got into it about a week later, we found out that it was going to be significantly more than $75,000. So that's why we're here tonight. The work has been completed. Leighton Excavating did the work successfully. As you see in your packet, it was a significant project from moving the river to eliminating the manhole that was damaged in the middle of the river, and repairing the stream, adding a bunch of repairing buffer strips so that we can hopefully prevent the erosion of the river in the future. So pretty good sized project, ended up being about $275,000 project. So here tonight is seeking approval. We have emergency funds that we're going to use to fund this. We've also reached out to the Army Corps of Engineers to see if they have any, and Muskingum County Watershed Conservation District to see if they have any available funds to help us reimburse for some of these unexpected costs. But happy to answer any questions you might have about it.
Thank you. Any questions? Offer a motion.
Second.
Motion by Shute. Second by Blind. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor of sending this on to full council say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. That motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fox. With that, the Service Committee meeting stands adjourned. Next up is Economic Development. Got a full house tonight.
Open the Economic Development Committee. Present are Mr. Berger, Mr. Neely, myself, Shute, Mr. Labutus. We have one piece of legislation this evening. It's to consider resolution number 26-42, a resolution authorizing and directing the mayor of the city of Newark, Ohio, to execute the Pataskala Corporate Park Joint Economic Development District Contract Amendment number 2 by and between the city of Newark, Ohio, the city of Pataskala, Ohio, and Harrison Township, Licking County, Ohio, and declaring an emergency. Mr. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Koss. In 2009, we officially formed the JED, the Joint Economic Development District, which, as he just read, is a partnership of the city of Newark, city of Pataskala, and Harrison Township. In 2022, had one amendment that brought in some additional parcels, and now we're looking for a second amendment. Just prior to the formation of the JED, the county commissioners extended debt via a bond to put in the road out there, the main road. If you kind of think about it, it's taken quite a long number of years for entities to form out there. Illuminate is the primary entity out there now, and there's some other thoughts. So some of this comes to surface with this happening. Their intent was to be paid back by the district, obviously, at the end of the day, for that road or Pataskla. So that's what this amendment has to do with. I worked with Pataskla and a little bit of Harrison Township, but more the county to get this, and we've gone about 6 months here. There wasn't a clause in the original contract to deal with that payback. So conceptually, what we do, we collect the money, our tax office does that. 100% of it gets distributed, 35% of the top comes out into an improvements account. What's left, the 65%, is divided among 7 entities. That doesn't get affected at all. None of that amount gets affected through this, so no one's gonna be wronged or cut short. It's the 35%. The 35% from improvements account is what's intended for road improvement, administrative costs, attorney, accountant, things like that. So all this really does is build in a mechanism to where when I work through this, when I do the distributions, we'll cut a check straight to the county to reduce this debt until the debt is extinguished, and then send a small amount, I believe they came up with $13,000 to Pataskla JED to pay for their attorney and accountant fees. So all this is an amendment that really isn't going to have a negative effect on anything. Pataska's in 100% agreement. Harrison Township's already signed the agreement. The county's 100% behind this. So because we're a party to this, we need to approve it too.
Thank you. Any questions, any comments from the committee?
Make a motion.
Second. So,
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Michelle Newman, Ward 7 City Council member. So in our packets that we received on the amendment, we weren't provided a red line version between the original JED agreement and the new one. And so I did request that from clerk of council to be able to do a side-by-side comparison.
yeah, I can do that.
And so it's because there's actually pretty extensive language going to pretty short language. And so it's like I did go through it. I think your explanation makes sense, but the question I was going to ask, is there a reason that it's being asked to be considered for emergency? Because just from a community transparency, after seeing other things that are happening in other areas of our communities with different economic development agreements, I'm a little worried about something going through super fast that actually is kind of complex that maybe the full public wouldn't understand. So my question's really around the emergency clause to be able to maybe have time to digest. So I could ask that through the chair.
Yep, good. The emergency clause is on there so that it can be enforced. You've got 3 entities, 3 public entities approving this contract, so the complexity of that and the timing of that is extended to get this in force prior to the next distribution, which will be the second quarter 2026 distributions. That'll happen in about a month here, a month and a half here. So what this would do is come to council for one council meeting for reading, so there'll still be time for public input at that council meeting before council votes. It's not, obviously, it's just waiving one reading, so if everybody understands that emergency. So they want to get it passed so they can get that proper distribution. They've worked on this quite a while.
Any other questions?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Barker. We have a second by Mr. Labutus. All those in favor of sending this on to full council, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
5-0.
Does that conclude economic development?
Yes, we are, that's all for economic development.
Well, good evening. I'd like to call our final committee, our capital improvement committee, to order. We could have present myself, council member Ingold, Newman, Labutus, and Neely. The first item on the agenda is a resolution number 2639, expedite a resolution appropriating monies for the current expenses of the municipal corporation. Is anybody here to speak to this? Okay, well, I'm uncertain if this is proper or not. There's no one to speak on it. I'll just say this is an appropriation from the unappropriated balance of the capital improvement fund in the amount of $10,000 for equipment upgrades in the courtrooms here in the building. So, Councilmember.
Honestly, I had hoped to hear what some of it was. We're in a position right now where we have to really start talking about expenses, and if we're gonna talk about 11,000 in one committee, we need to talk about 10 in another. And so I was hoping to have some more specifics.
I'm gonna make a motion to table to the next council committee meeting. Send me the speaker.
Second.
Okay, so there's a motion to table by Mr. Neely, a second to table by Mr. Labutus. All in favor of tabling until our next council committee meetings?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the legislation has been tabled, and with that, that concludes our committee hearings this evening. Full council will resume at 7 p.m. Thank you.
That's fair. I figure if you forget, you can just say, hey, let's leave.
Yeah.
Like, what's
You were pretty. I was because I'm sure people, majority of people are those who are different.
So.
Oh, I mean, I kind of ran through it, did like
We did, nobody made a motion. So then it goes to the council. Nobody makes a motion to amend. Anyway.